big homie, the open weight homie, Jake
Yeah.
Heun. What's going on?
Openweight Jake.
Openweight Jake. What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me on.
Is that the new name, open weight Jake?
I think it's sticking, bro. I mean, until I
It's definitely an AKA, that's for sure.
until I'm done fighting these big gargantuans, I think it's gonna stick, bro.
When you've been fighting at like light heavyweight, now it's open weight. You gotta look at it like, man, open weight is like there's no weigh-in, right? You don't even know how much the dude is weighing at all.
No.
Oh, you don't weigh in at all?
Well, no, we weigh in, but like, yeah. No, there's a weigh in, but I got no idea what this guy weighs. Like, you know what? Fuck it, man. It's
you
crazy.
Don't know till you actually get there, because there's no weight limit, right?
No. So the dude could be literally like that Aragoggle or Arogli or whatever he is.
He's like 330 or some shit.
He's got to be 4 bills. Easy.
Oh,
he's
you
a big
think so?
boy.
That's insane.
Wait, he's Chinese. Is he Chinese or Korean?
He's Chinese.
Chinese. He's on the show. The one that's coming up. But man, yeah. So it could be that guy or it could be me coming in at 100 kgs. Ain't no weight class in the jungle, boys.
That's insane.
It is, because he's like, 200 of it is in his stomach.
Oh, 100%. That's a lot of dumplings, man.
Hold, is that the one that they have the highlights of all the time on the internet going around?
Yeah,
okay.
Panda.
Yeah, the Kung Fu Panda. He loves that Korean chicken. If you've been to Korea, chicken's everywhere. He eat that shit like for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
And third dinner and fourth dinner.
That is like his late night snack and shit for his protein. But like when you were fighting in road I think 41, right, in Korea, and you fought Chemube or Mube Choi. He's fucking huge too.
I love how they switch the names out depending they're talking to white folks or the Asian folks.
Well, they said differently, you know what I mean?
No, bro, that dude had he had a cinder block for a forehead. He was massive. Big old Frankenstein.
Hey,
big boy. I tell you what, I put on some weight for that fight. They told me the road was like, you got to be 110 kgs. We want you to weigh 110 kgs because we think you're too small. So I was just doing nothing but just eating and drinking beer and I got real tired. Real tired.
Yeah, and the fact that he was huge, and he hit
massive.
the guy with like everything but the kitchen sink, and he didn't go down.
Yeah.
With that fight, you were fucking hitting him. That first round, you were just pummeling him, and he's doing this. He's just like ding, 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 ding. The whole.
It was so like demoralizing seeing him. Like I'd hit him with just bop, 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 and he just goes. It just starts walking back towards you. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, that was insane.
And the funny thing is, that's his style. Like he gets hit, and he just moves forward towards you slowly. So you don't know if he's like hurt or if that's just the way he is. He's just a giant. And that second round, you were in some, he was on top of you, just laying on you, which another thing that he likes to do because it gets you tired. So how did you feel when you're under him? Like you're like, oh shit, what was in your mind?
Oh, my mind was saying, I got to get up, and I had Brad, my corner up there, Brad Riddell, always screaming at me, "Get up, you cunt! Get up!" the entire time.
That's so typical, Brad.
Like that's some great cornering right there, bro. Like
I think that's like a New Zealand Australian thing for sure.
Yeah, so that was going for mine. I was thinking the whole time too, like just don't finish the round down here, like get up by the end, but maybe take a little bit of a breather because he wasn't like unloading or anything. He was just doing that wrestler like wear you out.
Big.
Yeah, he's a big.
But like watching, because we watched it, all of us here in Phuket, and we watched it, and I just remember being like, get up, like talking to myself, like get up, Jake, get up, and then like he would get up and be okay.
Well,
and then hit the guy a bunch, and then it just like wouldn't fall, and it was just like, when is he gonna finish him? And then at like one point, I thought he was tired when the guy was on top of him, but he was just like resting to like explode back up. So now he's like well diverse in the open weight category after one fight.
Yeah, I figured it out, bro. You don't want to beat those guys fat on fat. You got to go in like Minnow Man back in the day and just run some circles around them.
Did you see Minnow Man in his last fight?
No, who was his last fight against?
His last fight was against another Korean dude that fought in Pride. I think his name is fuck, Dongbar. That's his nickname, Dongbar. But it was in the last one where Arigula fought at.
Okay.
And it was just fucking terrible. It was just,
How many? Not to change the subject, but how many Korean guys have fought in Pride?
I thought it was just Choi Mubei.
Nah,
there's a few.
remember,
There's like
Ome,
maybe.
when you came here, the guy you brought, the old he wrestled on the Olympic team, right? And he's OG.
Yeah, he's like one of the first prides he fought on.
So how many Korean guys? Because I know you're like an MMA guru. So how many guys have fought in Pride?
Off the top of my mind, I only could think of 3. And these are the guys that fought like way back in the day, and not like the Vanderlei Silva Rampage days, but
it was all early Pride, yeah.
Oh.
But those dudes but those dudes, they fought like the guy Dongbar or whatever his name is. He fought Rampage and those guys. He lasted longer than anybody else, but he was getting his ass whooped by all of them though. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like any Koreans was out there just doing the damn thing and just pummeling fools. It was just like they were just going over there and punching bag status.
Yeah.
You know, it was terrible to watch if you're Korean, North or South.
I'm waiting for the North Korea to come out with this super champ, bro. It's got to be some kind of scientist program.
Yeah, actually, to think about
super science.
No, to think about it, like in all seriousness, like I'm surprised that North Korea doesn't have like at least someone on one of the big promotions, because you know they've got like Olympic champs. They've got like, bro, North Koreans are like. They're just good at what they like, whatever it is that they have to do. Yes. Like I remember in Cambodia, I think I told you before, in Cambodia at a North Korean restaurant, and I was just blown away. Like, well, number one, the food was bomb, but yeah.
North Korean restaurant?
In Cambodia. There's one in Thailand as well. They send the money back to North Korea to the government. But the girls were beautiful. They could speak Cambodian, which is insane. Obviously Korean. They could speak Chinese because the guy I was with was from Singapore and he was speaking Chinese with them. He lived there. English because they could speak to me as well, like multiple languages, and they could all play multiple instruments. It was insane.
Bro, you gotta think about just like the propaganda that they could gain on that though. If they had a UFC champ or some shit, imagine like the shot in the ass of their like country's morale they'd have with them. Not that I don't think they're lacking for morale at all up there, but I mean.
Hey, you know Dana would love that shit. He would love some North Korean, you know, what's the weight class that they don't have for the men right now? What is that? A pin weight, you know, some tiny and shit?
The atom weight, get the 105ers out there.
Yeah, like some atom weight North Korean. You know Kim Jong-un's up there pumping babies and, you know, trying to find the lineage, you know, like just making some super baby out there or something. I don't know, man.
You know him, and you know Dana would all of a sudden be his homie too. They'd be hanging out, going to UFCs and shit.
They'll be on the grab together, you know, doing the Instagram stories.
Yeah, Dana and goddamn, who's that basketball player that goes with Dennis Rodman and Kim Jong Un up there?
I mean, he hangs out with Tyson and other people like that. And why not?
Why not add Kim Jong Un in the mix? Everybody needs a crazy Asian friend.
That's insane.
Yeah, he could probably be the link between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un. Dana White would be the link and shit. Like,
that could be the link.
He'd be doing the peace treaty together. He'd be in the middle, like, I'm getting paid off this shit.
Yeah, but the Don would fuck it up somehow.
Oh man, he'd make Korea great again.
We got to get those hats made.
Oh man.
But hey, did you guys catch? Oh man, UFC 217. That shit was that the best UFC ever, or what do you guys think?
Dana said there's been a lot of. He can only count how many bad ones there are on one hand. So,
that's a joke.
But it was like man, Dana's a businessman, but I kind of like a lot of the times I really like what he has to say. Not all the time, of course, but like he had some banter today when the media were like interviewing him and whatnot. But like he had a point as far as that. He was like, you know, was it the best one? Yeah, it was. He said like it was probably one of the best ones ever. Mm-hmm. But can he say it's the best one? Because there's probably been, you know, quite a few good ones. But it was definitely like one of the most memorable ones for me that I was fuck. Everyone lost, all the champions. Like, it was just insane. Like, I think everyone I wanted to win lost. And you know I don't pick with my head. I pick with my heart. So
I think it's the best one since they've oversaturated the market. So there's a show every weekend.
Fair one.
This
Good one, Jay.
This is the first card I've like legitimately gotten my ass because it's downside to living in Thailand now is I got to get up in the morning if I want to go watch a fight. You know, it's not staying up all night and just watching it. But ever since they've done this, you know, they got what are they doing? Like 4 shows a year, 4 shows a month right now, 3-4 shows a month.
Yeah.
Is it regular? I couldn't tell you who the fuck is fighting 95% of the time.
And not to cut you off, this is interesting to me because it's always in the news and stuff about like how the UFC is doing. And one of the reporters said, in which I didn't, now that I think about it, off subject, I didn't hear Ariel's voice ask one question at the show. So the post-fight press conference. So, which kind of missed him.
Is an Ariel banned or is he allowed?
No, but let's not get on that subject. Let's don't get on that subject with him. But anyways.
Well, what subject? He's allowed on there.
Yeah, I know. With Ariel, he hates him. I love him. But anyways, they asked Dana about it. They said something like, oh, well, it's pretty known. Like a lot of people are saying that it's, the pay-per-views are down. Everything's down with UFC. And he was just like, no, it's the best that it's ever been. We're having the best year that we've ever had. And I think somebody said like
fake news.
Yeah, but I think somebody said something about like, Conor McGregor and da-da-da-da-da. And he was like, Conor hasn't fought, Ronda hasn't fought, so-and-so hasn't fought, and we're still smashing it. And about Conor, like, fighting – somebody said something about him fighting boxing. He's like, yeah, but that's still revenue for the company, da-da-da-da-da. Which, like, I won't do the facts checks to see if they really are having a great year or having a shit year because I don't really care. I'm still going to watch it.
They could be having a great year just based off Conor and Mayweather.
Yeah,
if it's all going to the same pot, they're doing just fine. But the UFC MMA brand, I don't give a shit who you are. I don't know who's fighting 95% of the time. I don't know who any of these guys are in their uniforms. The whole thing is ridiculous.
It definitely,
I don't like the uniforms at all, man.
So stupid.
They should go back to sponsors. I agree.
Yeah.
Or you should be able to wear the Reebok stuff.
And wear sponsors on the Reeboks.
But let your sponsors get on it.
Yeah.
I think that'd be, that's –
It kills 2 birds with 1 stone. They still get their corporate money, but then guys can still make some money on the side.
Yeah, no,
Not some money, most of their damn money.
I agree. Like, I think that is like – because to be honest, like, it does, like, it's almost like a uniform, and it does look like – if you like shorts or you like this or you like that, you can, for the most part, get what you want. But they should be allowed to wear sponsors. Somebody actually, Brad said that this morning. He's like, oh, Air Asia, so-and-so. He was like, nice that they can, get their sponsors.
Yeah, or they can slap Monster on somebody's ass on the Reebok shorts, and they still get paid, but the guy doesn't get paid.
Right.
It's
so,
ridiculous.
Like, I'm all for the Reebok, but let the other guy.
The Air Asia, right? When we're done, go Google Air Asia crashes and just go read some articles about Air Asia in the last 12 months.
Not only that,
using airplanes? Was that
Malaysian. I think Air Asia did that too, but I can't remember.
Straight lost.
But outside of that, I've never – maybe Air Asia does have TVs on the planes, but I've never once been on a plane that –
I took Air Asia to Germany, and they had TVs on their big planes.
Fair one. Questions answered.
But that being said,
if you're going to America, then you will get the plane with the TV, I would hope.
That being said, Air Asia's got enough money to be in the Octagon at Madison Square Garden, but I got to pay for water. Fair
one.
Step your game up
that's
a little bit, guys.
I was just on an Air Asia flight 2 days ago, and my girlfriend ordered food and a drink, and we had to pay for both.
Later.
What?
Yeah, Air Asia, you have to pay for shit. The longest flight I ever was on Air Asia was the Taipei for Pro FC with Kai of France. And I was so bored on the flight. Not that, because I was bored, I drank beers because I would do that anyways. But, I was so bored on the flight. I just, it wasn't just 1 or 2 beers. I just kept making Kai order me more beers because there was no TV. There was no anything. It was terrible. That was and that was only 5 hours. So, hopefully, the long flights, they do have TVs on them.
Fuck, I've never been on a plane, like a commercial plane, where they did not have TVs.
Bro,
the only time
you ever flown inside of China?
No, I never. I never flew. I flew into China, but no, I did. I never even flew into China. I took a boat to China.
Oh man!
Really?
Yeah.
Rewind.
Yeah, rewind.
I got talked into with my friend to taking a boat from Korea to China. It took 24 hours.
That's so terrible.
I know,
no good plan ever
you
started
have
with, hey, you want to take a boat to China, dog?
That just sounds sketch.
Yeah.
Yo, how long ago was this, John?
This was like 10 years ago.
Did you have a cabin, like a bed and stuff?
Yeah, we had a cabin with like 4 beds, and then
Were you under the
our
water
door
with,
handle fell off. Like
did you
during
have
the
a
trip.
window in the ocean or what? Like, was your room like underwater?
No, we were above water.
They were balling.
Oh,
They weren't Leonardo DiCaprio, and they were up on the. They were up there with
guys were up
Rose.
there.
Yeah, we're doing
class.
I can fly. We're doing that.
King of the world.
Yeah.
Take it to China.
And was it like? Well, hold on. There's 2 parts to the story. Like
All right.
one about the boat, and then 2 about why you were going to China on a boat. But
Yeah.
first part, like, was the room nice? Was it like good food and like was it a cool hangout?
I just told you the door handle fell off during the trip, so you could
So
see
what-
through the door. Like the door handle fell off. You could see into the room through the hole. So we couldn't lock our door. So our shit was always exposed. So somebody always had to be in the room the whole trip, the whole 24 hours. So we could never all leave at one time.
So shit. Well,
And
how
then we
many
go
were
to
there?
the people, and they're all Chinese. So we can't talk to them. So we're like, ching bang bang dang 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 dang, and then they're just like, we don't know what you're saying. And I'm like, me either.
And they were just still looking at you, saying the same thing, like you understood.
So it was fucked up, man. Like we were over there for like a week, and
What
it
were
was
you
like
doing?
we're just because I had an OG homie that was in China selling fake watches, and he was balling. Like he was making like $100,000 a month. That's what he was saying, right? So he's like, come over here and check it out and hang out and shit. So we went over there and we were hanging out over there, like in the middle of, I think, Tianjin. I don't know. It's like in the center of China. It's Tianjin.
Mainland China.
Yeah, mainland China.
Sounds like
Sounds like you just had a great time. I'll tell you what,
Man.
man.
No, I ain't never going back to that shit. Like, it's not happening again. But I took the train. Like, we went to Beijing from there. It took a train for like another 16-hour train ride.
Think about how ridiculous that is. 16-hour train ride.
For real. And we had to sleep in the restaurant of the train because we didn't have seats.
I can only imagine, John, because I've been in Korea, I wish I was going to Korea this coming week, but clearly I'm not.
Well, hopefully you guys are not on a 16-hour train ride.
And then another 3.5 hours away from that. No, but like, just think about like being like, I've been in China like 4 or 5 times, actually 5 or 6. But imagine like, well, you do know, but I can't imagine being on a train going through not only China but like mainland China. That's just
a nightmare.
Yeah,
that's actually a nightmare.
It does sound like a nightmare, and no disrespect to any Chinese.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
I'm
gonna go ahead and say it. A little bit of disrespect. People are probably peeing on the floor and pooping in the street. It's disgusting.
Especially like, because I just imagine this star right in the middle of China. It's like you, Sam, like in the middle of the country.
Hey, when we were in the restaurant of the train, we were suspecting that there was like a little girl that she was riding the train alone, right? And then the cook for the restaurant, it seemed like he had kidnapped her or some shit. It was some weird shit going down. Like we were just watching it, you know what I mean? Like we're like, what's going on with this like little girl that's by herself? She looked like she's 13 years old, and then the cook is like protecting her in the train, like in the restaurant. It was like, it didn't look like it was his daughter, you know what I mean? Because he was like hugging up on her and shit like that. But in China, you can't do nothing, man. You can't like say anything to anybody. They'll fucking cut off your dick and stick it in your mouth and shit. And, send a letter to your family telling them like, give us $1 million or some shit, crazy shit like that. So we were just like tripping out in the train. Yeah, now that I think about it. Yeah. And then we slept in the fucking restaurant for another fucking 6 hours, just like all of us. We ordered food.
How many were there of you guys?
It was 3 of us. We ordered food because if you want to sit in the restaurant, you have to order food. So we ordered food and we just slept. We didn't even eat. So the food was just sitting on our table, just plates of food, and us just our heads sleeping on the table for like 6 hours.
High efficiency in China, brother. High efficiency.
Man, you got to survive. It's survival out there.
It is. Like, I'll say that as well.
It's survival out there, man. And I don't know, you got to be very tolerant to be out there for a long period of time.
And you got to be able to deal with people who's fucking not understanding personal space.
Yeah.
That's the one that gets me, bro. When you go through those Chinese airports and shit, people jacking India and getting in front of you and the.
Hey, I went to China. I went to Ningbo, China one time for a WBK event, and I was with this French guy that used to be on our team. And the French guy got hit in the he lost the fight, and he had a black eye on the way back. And we were walking through like the first airport, and like there were like all these Chinese people, and they're just looking at him like right up in his grill. And he just he got so angry, and he has sunglasses on. Like he just put his they were off, but he put his sunglasses on and just started like shouting in French. And then I was like, "Yo, bro, calm down, like stop getting so worked up." And he's like, "What the fuck?" He was like talking about. He's like, "They look in my eyes, what they fucking never see." And I was like, "Well, to be honest with you, bro, like I would probably look at your eye too, maybe not as much as them, and so many people at one time, but like I was just like, yo, calm down." But it literally like through 3 airports, because that's how many it took to get back to Thailand. It was so ridiculous. But like then I had this angry French guy with me. Oh, it's terrible.
Well, in Korea, in like certain areas of Korea, it's like that too. Like if you're a foreigner and you go to like these little towns in certain areas of Korea, they act the same way, man. They look at you like you're a fucking alien. Like they never seen a white person, or especially if you're black. Yeah. If you African American, if you a dark complexion, they will trip out.
In America, I feel like Korean girls are the jump off. For real.
Jake shaking his head like this motherfucker throw that shit in there out of nowhere.
George got that yellow fever like nobody I've ever seen before. No offense, Dan. I love you to death. But George got that yellow fever.
I went Asian. I never went back. I've been Southeast Asia. I've been to the Middle East, Japan. Haven't been to Korea, but
I don't know, man.
I've been to Korea, but I'm saying that's in my Asian.
Yeah.
He never been inside of Korea, right?
Yes.
Say it like that.
Been all through.
If you talking about women, man, you gotta look at those like the Kazakhstani.
Hey, now that you say that,
the mixtures,
bro. They eating that horse meat over there.
George. No, the funny story. Coming back from Jakarta from the ONE FC, my fighter asked me, "Hey, brother, how many kilos I have in my suitcase?" And I was like, "I don't know. Let me see your ticket. I'll tell you how many." And I don't remember what it was. And I was like, "Why?" He said, "Horse meat. Do I have enough space for the horse meat?" I was like, "What?" It was Kyra. He's like, his mates had brought him like he had like a bunch of like really cool, but like I think mafia like sponsors, like that's what I called them anyways, Kazakh mafia. But they were awesome. These 2 guys, bro, they were so funny. But they brought him like a load of horse meat and his mate, and he was like, "You like?" And I was like, "Don't know, do I? I've never had horse meat. Have you had horse meat?"
No, I'm sure, Rob. Yeah, man, they eat that. When I was in Nepal, when I was living in Hawaii, bro, the Polis eat that shit.
Yeah, I never had it.
Hey, look
but
what
I just told him like I've never had it, so I don't know if I like horse meat or not.
Look what it did for Overeem, bro. It could do great things for you.
Yeah,
great. White wine and horse meat turn you into Ubereem.
Red wine and horse meat.
Hey, let's go back to talking about the UFC 217. GSP, is he the GOAT? Do you think he is the GOAT now? Like moving up, he went on to a 4-year training camp. I heard this earlier. Like he went on a 4-year training camp to actually finish a fighter, and he had to
go on a 4-year training camp to get his shit right for USADA. That's what he had to do.
Hey, in my opinion, I've always liked GSP. I don't know how far that statement's off because it could be close, could be far. Don't know, but I do think that George has solidified himself as definitely, if not the GOAT, one of like him or who would you say? Him and Anderson or him and who? I don't know, but he's definitely solidified himself as one of the biggest figures ever in MMA because like he's always been good. He's always been one of my favorites. I think he's boring and he's one of my favorites. Or he was boring. Maybe he's like reborn 2.0 George.
I hate to cut you off, but and I'm one to shit on George a lot just because he used to be so damn boring while he was out there. But
yeah,
it was funny to me today, him moving up a weight class, putting on muscle mass, and all of a sudden you're seeing techniques that you really haven't seen since George was fighting at 170.
The super jab.
That super jab
Yeah.
right into that wheel kick.
Yes.
Like, shit that like you forget. Like, this dude is a legit martial artist.
He really is.
He's a hell of a wrestler. He ran that single like it was his job all day.
Single, double, like ran it, like re-penetrated, ran it.
Listening to him talk is about like watching paint dry, but at the end of the day,
his banter is terrible.
Yeah.
But I love George.
But at the end of the day, we ain't paying to watch him.
You know, I also like George because all the time to build up to the fights, he always used to drink wine when he'd be out like hanging out and shit. So, like,
The fuck is that have to do with anything?
he's a boozer.
You're a wine connoisseur. That's why.
He's a boozer.
You're
Yeah,
a
I
wine
love
connoisseur. Yeah.
And George likes wine as well.
Hey, I would love if George did come back, and do you think it's just great timing because Bisping would have been the best opponent to beat at 185, and then he just happened to have the belt? Do you think that's a big part of it?
I think George doesn't beat anyone else in the top 8 at 185.
I don't think he even fights anybody in the top 8.
Yeah, no. But I mean, I agreed. But I think Bisping was like maybe the right size. It was just like, it was so perfect.
Perfect storm, bro, for sure.
It literally, like he said, it was a perfect storm. Because I don't think he beats any of those other guys. I think George can go back down to 170 and still compete.
Yep.
Like, and be very, very competitive. Like, can go with the champ, the whole 9.
Think about what happens. George gets in there with Romero. How does that fight go down? That fight is
yeah.
That's an ugly fight. That's a retirement fight.
What about your boy Brunson? What about your boy Brunson?
That some bitch can pop.
Hey.
Yeah, he can pop, man.
How many first round finishes or second round finish for like?
He has like 7.
Bro, my old striking coach called me like in the locker room with the other day, like literally right after. He always calls me at the most inappropriate. He does the most inappropriate shit, but he's like one of the best coaches. He is the best coach I've ever had. But like he called me and I was talking to Derek, and it was just like he was like talking shit about like who he wanted to fight next and stuff. But like, man, that guy's so like I could go on for days about how athletic he is. And yeah, there's a shit ton of athletic people in the UFC. But for me, like Derek is, because I'll say this, he's one of my best friends. His striking it works, but it's not when you think about like technical striking, that's not what it is at all. But he's got so much power in his left hand, and like, so like, he's just, man, I don't even know how to put it, but got 7 first round finishes. Like,
I call it controlled chaos because that's what he looks like. He looks like that. He looks like a cartoon, that has like he's spinning around and then that smoke is all around him, like the Tasmanian devil. And then that's who he looks like when he's fighting. He looks like the goddamn Tasmanian devil, and all of a sudden someone's laying on the ground, knocked the fuck out.
It is. He's not even taking people down. Like,
no.
Think about when he first got into the UFC, bro, and in Strikeforce, he was just killing everybody takedowns, which he All-American his second year ever wrestling, like, in his life. And that's how good of an athlete he is. But, yeah, like you said, the Tasmanian devil, like, people are laying out all the time, but he doesn't even take people down anymore. Like, unless he's in trouble, which I think he tried to take Whitaker down. But, like, he just throws his hands now. It's insane.
Jake, what do you think about Cody Garbrandt releasing that footage of sparring?
Man, I mean,
what do you think it says about him as a fighter? You're a fighter. You spar a lot. I'm pretty sure you've gotten knocked down. You've knocked down people. You submitted people. You've probably gotten submitted. And
I've been submitted. I've been submitted. I'll give you that one. I've been submitted.
Okay. And
I knock him down on a daily basis.
No, man. I'll tell you what, bro. Like, first of all, I'm a firm believer. Shit, what happens in the room, that's a room, man. It doesn't necessarily. That's not. I can't tell you how many guys I've seen that are absolute dog shit in the room, and then come game time, and they're just murderers, and vice versa. You get guys that are just world beaters in the room,
world-class ass beater in the room,
and then
shit the bed,
and then come the lights, and they got nothing. They got nothing.
You see it in all sports.
They can't bust a great.
It says to him though, like as a fighter, as a teammate. Do you think Team Alpha Male should be worried about Cody Garbrandt and the shit that he said. Because he also said that they all use steroids too at the press conference.
Yeah.
Hold on, what?
Yeah, he was saying that he said, you might know this better, John. I think he was saying that TJ basically had orchestrated their whole doping scheme out there.
Hold on. So he said the whole team was doing it?
Basically, because he said that TJ was showing everybody how to do steroids in the pre-fight press conference. He said that.
I probably would have been like, if I was like, do you think Uriah Carmen? Like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Like, I mean, everybody knows Mendez got popped already, but I mean, yeah. Team
So
Alpha
what do you think
failed.
it says about Cody though? Like him, you know, he was a champion. He's fucking legit. You can't deny that shit. But what do you think it says about a teammate as a fighter?
I think at the end of the day, the guy's trying to sell a fight. I get that, but there's a point of diminishing returns on selling a fight when you're just being a douche to a point. You know,
about Cody or TJ?
Cody. I'm just saying. To me, the releases in the sparring footage was like, man, shit. And you know, you watch that footage, the motherfucker wasn't out. He just got dropped.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a difference. There's a difference between getting dropped and getting starched, put out. And the thing to say that stuff about the juice, when you're still training with guys that you're thrown under the bus with that's your boys, man. You gotta kind of have your boys back. But a lot of these cats, though, they are of that thing with the juice stuff that fuck all you guys that are taking it. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. But then there's guys that are taking it, and then they're saying fuck all you guys that are taking it. A la John Finn.
1,000%, bro. I'm of the 100% belief that anybody that can afford to take it and afford the doctors to make sure their piss comes back clean, they are on it, without a doubt. That has long been my thought on it. The UFC at all levels of every sport. If you can afford it and you can make sure your piss is going to come back clean, you're on it. It's to me, it's never a matter of these guys with like, oh, well, he's got this, he's got that. Nah, the guy's got the best doctor. He's got the best science. Wait till they start go back because I think the UFC bit off way more than they thought they did when they got in bed with USADA and shit. When these guys start going back and testing old samples from, you know, from when they first started USADA to all of a sudden you got dudes coming back. Everybody thought, oh, he was clean, he was great. 5 years from now, these motherfuckers are going to be dirty because they found new tests.
Icarus.
Imagine how many belts could be getting stripped.
Just give me that belt.
Just
give me that.
Painted.
Yeah, it's bad,
but
bro.
At the same time, Dana White's running away with that cash. You know what I mean? Like, because you can't take back the cash. You made the cash.
Running away.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, man. I think at the end of the day, this is like my thing with the drug stuff, like with the juice. I really feel like, yeah, okay, everybody, especially stateside, like in America, everybody's like, they want this clean, this like, dude, it's for our kids' sport. But at the end of the day, they want to fucking see people hit home runs. They want to see people running 4.240s weighing 300 pounds. You're not going to see that if you completely clean up your sports. You're going to have a bunch of dudes that you normally see sitting around the bar talking about how, well, if coach would have put me in the fourth quarter, I know we'd have won the state championship. So what they need to do is open the shit up and just be like, look, man, if you want to juice, go on and juice. If you don't want to juice and that's on your like moral, that's not on your moral spectrum, that's fine. But you need to know going into this that you might be standing across a cage from some Neanderthal that's just sweating testosterone right out of his eyeballs. Because you know what? At the end of the day, it's prize fighting. It's a spectacle. People want to see a spectacle. I mean, how dope was it in the Pride days, seeing Mark Coleman and Vanderlei with just veins coming out? I'm pretty sure I saw a fight where Vanderlei was sweating yellow. Just secrets of the U's coming out.
Probably was, yeah.
Like, man, it's great. It's on that level. It's great. I mean, as a fighter, it sucks sometimes because you're thinking like, man, these guys, why is this son of a bitch not getting tired? Why am I hitting him so hard and nothing is happening to him?
For real.
But at the end of the day, man, it's a show. We got to put on for the people.
It seems like I talked to a lot of fighters, you know, doing the show and doing other things, and they seem like they all have the same sentiment as you. Is if you're gonna do it, hey, when we make a contract and say like, hey, you're gonna do this, and if I want to do it, I'm gonna do this, and let's make it even. Let's open it up. Like, don't just fucking hide everything and bring in some third party to test everybody when it's not really working.
It's not working to begin with.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gotten better, but I do agree, especially after watching Icarus. I do agree that though it will always like there's always going to be people that are going to do it, and it's never going to stop. It's just like weight cutting is never going to stop. Promotions like the UFC's even trying to do shit now. The ONE FC's like got the whatever weight classes, and I fought in Art of War, and you're not supposed to cut weight. It's supposed to be at your walking around weight, but it's always going to happen. When I wrestled in college, I cheated to make, the piss test. I cheated on everything when we had to get certified. And
hydration test?
Yeah, on the hydration test. It's always going to be people are always going to find a way around it. And like Jake says, it's all like morally, like, what are you okay with?
Did you see the guy that died in the ring over the weekend at LFA?
The guy died in LFA.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Over
Who
the
was
weekend. He didn't, but they resuscitated him. He
so he died
in the cage, and then they did the electrical shock shit, and then
Sure, John.
CPR.
Some bloke lost his life.
So he pulled a Dada. They brought him back because Dada died 6 times on the table.
Yeah, he did the Dada. That's the new term for that shit. Like when you die in the cage, you
Die in
did
the
the
cage,
Dada.
you did the Dada.
Has Dada fought again or no?
No, man, he's probably doing the dog fight still and shit.
Dada's trying to sell a fight with Kimbo or not with Kimbo. He did Kimbo. I saw he was online he was calling somebody out not that long ago.
Yeah, Dada 5,000 fought in Bellator. How insane is that?
Bro, he headlined the Bellator.
Yeah.
That's so insane. You talking about making it? I wonder how much he got paid.
Probably like 5 and 5.
Oh yeah, bro.
I guarantee he didn't get paid that much.
I'm gonna find out now.
They tried to say Dada's crew came out and said that Kimbo's team poisoned him.
Yeah, that's just so insane.
Isn't that what John Jones said too? His team, that Daniel Cormier somehow got into his his drinks or his food or some shit and tainted it with steroids. Like, that's some far-fetched shit right there.
Yeah, that's some alien shit right there. That's some getting beamed up George St. Pierre stuff.
That's ancient aliens. You know ancient aliens?
Ancient aliens.
I love that guy, the Greek guy on there. He's such a lunatic.
They should have him as the third commentator.
Aliens.
He's third commentator in UFC.
He should absolutely. I mean, they got Eddie Bravo there. Sometimes it's the same shit.
Yeah, yeah, for real. Look.
Hey,
what about Joanna talking all that shit all week? Yeah. Like hard too.
I love it.
Yeah, I used to be like so against shit talking. Like I guess in like high school and probably like my very first couple MMA fights. But like I understand it's necessary, And some people for like me. Like, I think about, like, if I was in, like, a huge title fight for, like, the UFC and stuff, and, like, I was going against Conor McGregor, like, he's good at talking shit, too. My thing would just be, like, I know that my brother's good at talking shit. He's not good at taking it. I'm good at taking it, but not talking shit. And I'll just be like, my banter back would just be like, oh, well, that's fucking great. Like, I'm not going to go with you at a verbal sparring. And I would just, like, laugh at myself and, like, that would be my take. But, like, I was talking to my dad about it today, and we were talking about Bisping because my dad didn't like Bisping. But, like, I think I like to understand, like, UK humor now, like, people from the UK. And I quite like Bisping, like, because I listened to his post-fight press conference, and he was just, like, making fun of himself. He was just like, look, lads, like, I'm ready to get to the bar, a couple more questions, like, and they were like, well, do you think, he da-da-da-da-da, and he was just like, he got me with a good punch, like a good left hook that rocked me and dropped me and then got my back. He was like, he was quite strong. And then he like started making fun of himself. And he was like, I think that, if I fight him again, I'll beat him, but this is George's night, like I'm not going to take it away from him. He fucking beat me. And like, I really respected that. And cause he talked shit before and Joanna talked a lot of shit. And I think she did like similar. I know I went off on a tangent, but like, I think talking shit's fine. And especially if you do talk shit and you put yourself out there, I think that's one reason that, like, me growing up wrestling and stuff, I never talk shit to people because, like, I used to say, like, if you get, like, beat, you look like an asshole. But at this stage, like, that shit sells, and the people who talk usually make more money.
No doubt.
I'm all about it, bro.
Yeah. The people who cut good promos make more money. Man. The people who like put themselves out there genuinely or generally, do better. More people want to see him fight.
Yeah, they want to see you fight, hate you or love you. At the end of the day, there's still eyes on. I'll tell you what though, like I trained at ATT with Joanna a bit, and she's the girl. Like in person is a damn sweetheart. I think come fight week, their fight time, she flips a damn switch and starts looking like a fucking velociraptor. She gets that. And she's a frightening human, bro. I'll tell you what, man. I was down there, and I was working in the cage, and I hear somebody hitting pads, just I'm thinking, oh, it's got to be like Dos Santos or somebody over there ripping apart. I look over the cage, and it's little Joanna just it's like, this chick is scary.
So insane.
But like, you know what though, man? At the end of the day, like she talked a lot of shit. She tried to get in Rose's head, and that's part of the game, man. It's mental warfare. You got to get in there sometimes and break a chick.
Yeah, I think that's big. Like, I think that it really does like mental warfare, depending on who it is. Like,
you can break some people. You can break some people before you even get in the ring with them.
Well, Conor proved that a bunch of times against his fight.
With Aldo.
Yeah.
Aldo was beat before that bell rang.
Yeah.
I think so was Porter.
Alvarez.
Yeah. But all of them. But the thing is, like, man, like when it comes to talking shit and stuff, like it's good, and we still have to like listen to you and be vested in you. Like, hats off to Rose. She fought a great fight. That was the most boring post-fight. I just won a huge belt post-fight interview I've ever heard in my life.
I agree. I saw that she wrote
no desire to listen to her speak or watch her fight.
I heard that she's trying to get a Disney show, so that's why she went with
that real life?
No, I'm just fucking.
Oh, because like that's how it came across, though. Like, there's too much violence in MMA. I'm trying to make it nice. Let's all just hug. It's like, no, bitch, you get paid to fucking punch people in the face.
Hey, I want to know where she got her fucking name, Thug Rose, from.
Probably from Pat Barry, if I had to guess. But
she's probably because she was like a fucking gangster in Lithuania. That's why, you know what I mean? She had another life over there. She's probably like 45 years
I
old.
didn't even know that. She's from Lithuania?
Yeah. Her family or some shit is from Lithuania. Like, they moved over there.
Was she born in America?
Her dad had schizophrenia. Did you know that?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She seems like a sweet girl. Yo, and I think she's very, very, very pretty.
You ever seen her with hair?
She's got no,
Oh,
but she's
with
got
the
like
hair,
her
bro.
bone structure. Like, she is.
You gotta have hair, man. Come on.
Yeah.
They're not. You can't pull off that bald head for too long. UFC's gonna probably write another contract telling you better grow that shit out.
Ain't no G.I. Jane cuts allowed anymore, guys.
You know, Wonder Boy's contract. He has in his contract. What I heard was that he cannot get any tattoos.
Because he has to be the clean cut guy, huh?
Yeah, in the UFC, he cannot get any
I thought you were gonna
tattoos.
say his dad said that because they're like
They're weird, bro.
I met him in Singapore, yo. He's such a like nice, genuine person. Like, he was super, super nice. I hung out with him near the pool. But one of our friends today he came to my house to watch the UFC, and he does some work for the UFC as well. And he said that his dad calls him WB. Like, WB.
Uh-huh.
Like, you know, like in the South. Like,
Is Jake becoming WB right now? Is that what it is?
no, but I'm like, I thought fair one to him. Like, I thought I was gonna get a good reaction out of him, but like, could you imagine like WB spin? Like, I could.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's
like,
perfect.
It reminds me of like being a kid and like wrestling and like people like calling their son like, "Hey, Junior," like something ridiculous in the South. But
It's like Bubba, you know, like.
clearly that one
White boy, I got it.
didn't go as good as I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
go.
Well, WB is funny that his dad calls him WB.
Yeah, Wonder Boy.
Oh, Wonder Boy.
Oh,
Could you
I
imagine?
thought White Boy.
No, WB, Wonder Boy.
Yeah. Peep
But
this.
could you imagine him being like, "Hey, WD, Wonder Dad"?
WD back and forth. That's their banter.
I was really hoping.
Yeah.
I was really hoping old Georgie was gonna pull that
So did
one
I,
out,
man. I thought Masvidal was gonna win. I thought he did. Like, he beat his legs up, and I think that kicking should be scored more in MMA than it is, because I feel like it only counts when you punch somebody. Maybe I've been in Thailand too long and watching Thai boxing.
A
But,
story,
No, punching no count. Only knees and elbows.
yeah. Story related to the WB story. Like, when I was growing up in my neighborhood down the street, there was a fat kid
In Korea or America?
in the States, right? There was a fat kid, and his name was Scott, right? But he was fat, so you know when there's a fat kid, you got to give him a nickname. So we're like trying to think of a nickname. We're just, all right, we're just gonna call you Beef.
Yeah.
So everybody in the neighborhood started calling him Beef, even his brother. So his name was Beef from now on. No one even knew his name was Scott anymore. He's like, hey, what's up, Beef? And, even
That's a
his
good name,
mom,
though.
Beef.
even his mom was calling him Beef within the next 6 months. Like
That's
his
so
mom would be
funny.
yelling out the window like, Beef,
Yo, I got,
Beef.
Dinner. Beef.
hey,
Dinner.
I got a super funny story, but I can't say it on air, so make sure I remind you. 'Cause this really
Yeah, this is fucking Beef. And then like he did a bunch of like meth and became all skinny, but we still called him Beef though. But I blame the neighborhood for his drug use. I blame the neighborhood for his drug use, his illegal drug use. So
What was that in North Carolina or Atlanta? I'm
no,
sorry.
it was in Washington, North
Washington
Carolina.
State?
Yeah,
I
Washington
meant
State.
to say Georgia.
No, not in Georgia. No, Georgia was like I only stayed there for like 6 months. But anyways, yeah, yeah, it was a fucking crazy night, man. Did you guys catch the Full Metal Dojo last night? Did you watch that one?
Yeah, I caught the Cambodian girl in the last fight.
Yeah,
No,
like just to go over real.
Pong Siri, the Cambodian girl, Little Frog, and then the last fight.
Yeah, the little girls, man, they're throwing down in Thailand, man. Like even the Thunderstorm, that girl Thunderstorm, she fought last night, and yeah, Little Frog, and the night before there was one championship. Hey, did you watch that one?
Nope,
Man, it
didn't
was
watch it. I knew some of the results, but I didn't watch it.
the Burmese Python. If you go back and listen to the fucking crowd when that fight starts, it is fucking insane, man. That he's a fucking superstar in Myanmar.
How many people were there?
I don't know, man. It sounded like there was 100,000 for some reason.
That's insane.
Man,
I didn't even live there.
I went to that stadium when I cornered Dave LeDuc and those guys for Lithway up there, and those Burmese, they love some fighting, man. They love that shit. It's nutty, and like it's crazy. Like I can only imagine I was with the Yang because they Emilo Ureta or Eritrea, however the hell you say his last name. Ureta. Emilo Urethra. we were running around and he had his ONE FC shirt on. And the one had been there like the week before, the month before or something.
Oh, they're probably loving it.
Oh, and people were stopping him in the street and pointing at his shirt. It's crazy up there, bro. That's gonna be. I'm gonna tell you right now, that's gonna be a hotbed for MMA because they're tough people too, man. Yeah. Like the Burmese in general, they're a tough bunch.
I met a Burmese guy the other day in Malaysia at a Chinese restaurant. I was with my girlfriend and another Thai guy, and the guy spoke Thai because they couldn't understand what we were saying in English. And so the Chinese guy, or the Malayan Chinese guy brought his friend over, or his worker, who was Burmese, and he spoke fluent Thai. And then, I said a little bit to him in Thai. And then I did, the thing for, Lithway, and then showed them, a couple of videos. And they were, then, 2 or 3 of them came over, and they're they were, really into it. It was
you ever seen, it's like that part in Coming to America. It reminds me. When he goes to watch the basketball game and the dude walks past him with the cup, so he's all like, oh my God.
In Myanmar, man, there are some fighting people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if Dave LeDuc is, and he's not even, Burmese, and he goes over there and he's fucking insane famous over there, like the Burmese Python, Ong Long or whatever, he must be fucking
Dave's
insane.
certified.
Yo, Dave's got his. Dave's got his Burmese card, bro. That guy is. He's tied in with the government and everything now. Dave is Burmese. But what you're saying though, that Ang, the Python, I don't know how to say his name. I don't want to butcher it. But I mean, yeah, they're he's. I mean, just the amount that they've embraced LeDuc, it's crazy to think how much they'll get behind one of their own. Because I mean, at the end of the day, what it's doing is it's bringing some notoriety and some fame to a country that really, at the end of the day, hasn't had much going for it for the last quite a while. Shit, I mean, they got some tourism there for a couple of years, and everybody started to pull out again because what's going on up north up there. So any little spike of good stuff they can get, they just grab onto, man.
Talk about timing, man, for the Burmese Python too to win the belt, and go back there. Yeah, we should get him on.
In the States,
yeah, he lives in DC or something.
Yeah. My friend's his trainer.
Yeah. So, he's if Jake is right, man. no, really, like a simpleton would only know that country as like the part of the Golden Triangle and
Yeah.
producing drugs. Basically, that's it. Like nothing else.
Yeah.
Even Lethway is just something new to most people in the world. So, yeah, it's a hotbed. It is going to be like huge. I think in the next couple of years, Lethway is going to blow up.
Yeah.
I think so too, man. I think just in literally like
This year, bro.
yeah, I think literally like no more than a year and a half, because it's gonna blow up. I remember watching Cyrus Washington, because I knew Cyrus from the States. We fought in the same show before, and I remember and we had common friends. And I remember watching a video of him like 3.5 years ago before I even moved to Thailand. Win a fight in Burma, and I was like, oh man, that's pretty hard, bare knuckle. And then I remember coming here 3.5 years ago and seeing Dave LeDuc for the first time, and then like now knowing him and him being like a part of the team, and just fighting Muay Thai, like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and now in the last year and a half, what he's done for Lithway, like it's insane. Like it's incredible, like how famous it is now, and how many. Like, you just look at one post from him, how many views it gets, like a video, and how many comments.
And how many comments you're getting in Burmese.
Yes, it's insane.
It's all the circle writing all across the thing.
Yeah,
I actually love him.
I love his wife. She's such a sweetheart, and they're perfect together. Sometimes I almost wish that he had a Burmese wife, because
that would have been
it would be that much better.
It'd be the business move.
He would be living there. He would be the president within the next 10 years.
I'm gonna tell him they should adopt a Burmese kid.
Oh, I'm sure it's probably already in the works.
Yeah. He's gonna have a foster home out there, something. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm waiting the next time I go up there. They're probably gonna have a big old statue built with LeDuc. LeDuc doing the.
Yeah, it's like they're competing against each other but they don't even live there. Both of them. Yeah. One's a foreigner. One guy, he's from there, but he lives in the States. But they're just fucking massive in that country, man. Like, who's the next guy? Someone's gonna come out also from that country. I don't know who it would be, but
Dave's got it on lock.
Dave got it on lock. But I'm saying, like, do you know if it's somebody that is like living there, that is in the gutter with them? Somebody someone that can get huge from there, like growing, from the country. That's what I think. That's the next guy.
I bet more people will go there just to start training. Like, think about I don't even know how many years ago foreigners started coming to Thailand to train Muay Thai. Like, think about that. Like Myanmar is I really want to go there. Like, he's been there, but it's somewhere I've lived here for a while now, and I still haven't been there. I really want to go, but. And some of the photos I've seen from Dave are ridiculous, it's beautiful. So I think that Myanmar, especially now with Lithway, we can see that becoming the new Thailand, where people are going to visit, and it's untapped beaches and untapped this and that.
Yeah, they got some political shit they got to handle.
Yeah, once they get rid of what's going on with the what's her name and the Muslims and
then just the military just having such a tight grasp on everything too. Yeah. But I mean, dude, you're nail on the head though, man. I think it's a breeding ground for it, because a lot of these places, I think in the States you see it so much too. People out there, they're fans of the sport, oh, I'll watch the UFC or whatever, but they're not ravenously behind it. I saw it when we were in Burma, man. We walked down the street and they'd be like, "Oh, do you know Dave? Do you know our champion Dave?" That's what I got out of there.
But that's insane,
our chat, But it was nuts, man.
It's almost to me, a small country Ireland getting behind Conor McGregor, but I think a lot more people. I don't know. It's a bit different, but at the same time, kind of the same thing. It's in Chechnya, the president loving the fighting. But I can't imagine Donald Trump loving fighting and hooking me up with some
tiger
with his duck lips,
Him hooking me up with training or money or something like that.
Buying you a tiger and a falcon.
Yeah. We could go on for days, but we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So anyways, but yes, it is. It to me, it's similar.
Jake, let's go back to your American Top Team days. You've been going. When's the last time you were there? You must have been there recently, because you said you just trained with Joanna.
That was right when I left ATT. Was when she had first gotten there. I've been in Thailand for
how long?
Straight a year now.
Okay.
Straight a year without leaving, and except for to go fight. And before that, I was kind of coming back and forth. So it's been.
He came the first time he fell in love. We, everything ended up working out, and everything's great now.
It's so good.
But like there's a lot of controversy over there at American Top
ATT.
Team now. Yeah, ATT is like a hotbed of controversy with Colby Covington and Ricardo Laborio, because Ricardo Laborio is like the OG of.
Lebo's my dude.
Yeah,
Lebo is my guy.
Yeah, and Covington, he comes out against Covington saying like, Covington should be saying those things about Brazil.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother discussion there too. But what do you think about like Ben Saunders, like challenging Colby Covington, like kind of, backing, Laborio, saying Laborio's the OG, man. You can't talk about the OG like that because we gotta have
So here's the real deal on that. Lebo, that's part of the reason I left ATT. Lebo hasn't been at ATT for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a daughter who's got she has some like health stuff, so he got her into a school. She's blind, so he got her into a school for the blind up in Orlando. So he spent a lot of time up there, and he was going around. And the gym the gym became a different place without Lebo there. That's played a big role in the reason of me moving to Thailand. Just became a different place, and I don't know, like the timing was real strange on Lebo coming out and saying those things right when Colby made his comments. But I mean, it wasn't that played no factor in Lebo leaving. Lebo had long been gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know for a fact that he ruffled some feathers with the Brazilians at ATT with that shit. They did not enjoy that comment, which I found hilarious. I thought it was great.
Of course. It goes back to talking shit and promoting yourself, and he didn't really say anything like racist or anything like that. He basically said like what normal people would say to each other. It doesn't matter what race you are, you know what I mean?
Man, everybody's so damn sensitive these days about everything. I swear it's from podcasts, it's from Twitter, it's from everybody having so much access to content all the time. Everybody's just looking for a reason to be fucking pissed off at somebody about something so they can be offended. Because when they're offended, then all of a sudden they have a reason to talk. These are people that don't normally have anything that anyone would ever listen to them have anything to say. But when they feel like, oh, I've been attacked or I've been marginalized, now like people want to listen to them. And it's bullshit. Colby fucking beat up a legend and talked some shit along the way trying to sell a fight. Good on him. That's what he's supposed to do.
Yeah, I love it.
I love it.
I told you
and
before.
I love Darren Till talking about it as well.
Yeah.
I love both of them.
Yeah. See, they're both doing their job.
Yeah. It's
I like Colby Covington. I really do. And I like Darren Till. He's like a guy that I really like now that's like fighting.
That boy can pop too.
He can pop.
That boy can pop.
Dude can scrap. And he's like, I don't think most Americans, I can speak. I think Jake would agree with me. Being an American, like, you're not around a lot of people from the UK and whatnot, so you don't know like their sense of humor compared to ours. It's very different. But after being in Thailand for a while and most of my friends being from the UK, like I understand it now, and I think it's quite funny. And his personality, as he called Colby a cunt the other day on the MMA Hour, and Ariel Helwani's face was just like he just looked upset and sad when that happened. But he was just like, talking shit in his lingo and whatnot from the UK, and it was so funny. But just like what he has to say is funny, and him talking about Colby was hilarious. Like what his take on what he said after the fight. So
I liked how he told Cowboy not to stand with him because he would die, and then he killed him.
Yeah, he did.
So good.
I like all these personalities and the way that they're talking shit too, because like you said, Till, he's from England, he talks the English style shit talking,
and he's a scouse, which is like a real hard,
a street dude. He's kind of like a street dude from England, like Liverpool
he
style.
He could be in a Guy Ritchie movie, bro.
Yeah,
he could easily be a thug in a Guy Ritchie movie.
And then you got Colby Covington trying to do the Chael Sonnen, style.
There's definitely some like he's
they're both Oregon boys, right?
Ripping pages out of the Chael playbook hard.
Is that plagiarism or what? Is that plagiarism?
Or is it?
Yeah, they're both Oregon boys. My thought process in this, and nobody ever called Chael out on the shit. He was ripping a lot of his promos from old pro wrestling shit.
Oh, Ric Flair.
Yeah,
even
he
the
was.
Walk. Even the
straight
one,
ripping those promos.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
verbatim, word for word,
Like,
all WWF
to me,
promos.
Kobe.
I watch those too. I watch those all the time.
Yeah.
Because they're hilarious.
They're so good.
Yeah, like the Ric Flair.
cream is gonna rise to the top, brother.
King of the promos.
For real. And then you got Mike Perry's way of talking shit. He's kind of like the New Jersey Shore, like.
Yeah.
Sorry, this correction on my part. I said when Till called him a cunt, I was saying Kobe, but it was Mike Powell or whatever his name. Mike Perry.
Yeah.
Mike Perry, yeah.
I like
Gotcha.
Mike Perry too. Mike Perry's like I don't know what you could. He's a different style of shit talking himself.
Yeah.
He looks like
really
George Michael. Did you see him last time? He looked like George Michaels when Darren Till fought.
You've never seen him? Can you pull up like a promo or something of him?
Is he savage?
On YouTube?
Who?
He's funny.
Yeah.
Mike Perry.
Oh no.
No.
Nah.
But yeah, Mike Perry's crazy.
Yeah, he's crazy, bro. He's like one of those guys, like
legit nuts.
Yeah.
Good for him. I like it.
All right, before we go, let's talk about Pro Fight League. What's your situation?
Hey man, yeah.
I see you promoting yourself and like trying to get some fights, but
yeah, bro, I'm trying to get paid.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know this, but I only get paid when I fight. I don't got a cushy job teaching wrestling to groups over here, man. No, man, I still got one fight left on my deal with World Series. I'm assuming my contract was purchased by the Pro Fight League, which wasn't set to start until January.
But it has already had a few shows.
But they've been running. So the way it was explained to me is they were running out the remainder of their NBC shows that they had on this deal with World Series and just calling it Pro Fight League. Not the best business move on my idea. I think you should start fresh. Mm-hmm. Basically, I'm waiting on some emails to hear like what's going on with this whole season thing. How's it going to work? Are we getting paychecks monthly? Because that would be dope. But to be 100% with you, bro, I would prefer to get a phone call from Risen and just keep on slaying giant Asian and Russian men over here and just do the damn thing. Be the next generation minimum man over here, only better and better looking. You know?
Asia is where it is at.
Yeah, you got Ryzen, you got Road. Like you're already fighting for Road. Now you got
Road's great, man. They treat me good, man.
I feel like you could be a star there too in Korea.
Yeah, why not? You know what I mean?
I tell Lily all the time. I say, hey, as soon as you guys are ready to give me Mighty Mo's money, give me that fight. I'll take his cookies. I'll send him to retirement home. You guys can have a new round eye champ in there running shit.
Take Heun, people. Take Heun.
We can make a new weight class. We can do. I'll do light heavyweight. I'll do open weight. I don't give a shit. Send me up to North Korea. I'll fight Kim Jong-un. Write that down.
What about in Ryzen? I think that I saw you. You wanted to fight somebody in Ryzen. Who was that?
I called out the Rocky Martinez, the guy who just fought Jerome LeBanner.
Yeah.
Because come on, bro, you can't be going over there desecrating Risen, the Japan in Pride, what I grew up on, looking like that. That's disgusting. You disgust me.
I don't even know who that guy is.
He's just a sloppy cock. And then the kid from AKA Amir. Amir, America and Iran. That's always a good battle. But to be honest with you, man,
country versus country.
Yeah, I like that shit. I would I just, as long as I've been fighting, bro, I've always wanted to get to Japan. I've always wanted to fight on a New Year's Eve show, and
it's dope.
It's like, honestly, like to me, I thought at Madison Square Garden already, so now I just need to tick off Saitama. Basically, I've run the cycle,
Fighting in Japan is awesome. I fought on the New Year's card for Deep in the Saitama, and it was like I think 4,000 people there.
Yeah,
and it was like I went there and cornered again for the UFC, and it was filled. And it was like, when I was there, it was like the middle sections were sectioned off with people, and it didn't look like a lot, looking up into it. But it was still like walking into the arena, you get the chills like if you're an MMA fan, because you know how many legends have fought there. And it was pretty cool. The Japanese fans are awesome. I think Asian fans are better in MMA anyways
I think so.
than where we're from.
I love the fans in Korea were dope, man. I was actually really impressed with the Korean fans because they had like this cool mixture of like, you know how knowledgeable the Japanese crowd is.
Yes.
Like they like applaud when you pass guard, like if you pass then move on, but still like with a little bit more of like that American like, oh, just bleed. So it was like it was this kind of this dope mixture. I really like fighting for road, and I would prefer we were fighting in Korea, not going to China. But you know, it's what
I'll second that.
Maybe you could hop on that next card after that in December or something like that.
I would love to.
Unscathed, we're good coming out unscathed. We'll be right back in there.
Because you know they got that women's championship coming up in December.
Yeah, I'm pretty that card's gonna be cool. That Jinjae Foy or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Is she the girl that fought in Invicta?
Hey,
she fought for the title.
I saw her when
she's
I
sexy.
was there.
Yeah.
Yes, she's
nice.
Pretty girl. I followed her on Twitter.
She's got about 0% body fat. That girl.
Yeah.
But no, man. Like if I could get up, I'm trying to fight 2 more times this year. I want to fight this show, and then I want to fight again before the end of the year.
Yeah, like even like Ryzen or that road in December would be perfect.
That's kind of what I'm gunning for. Either one of those is what I'm gunning for. So.
I think Roading and Ryzen would be great. We should probably go to Japan.
Yeah, we should. I think we should probably do.
We should go to Japan for New Year's.
Yeah, Japanese New Year. I got Shinjo, the matchmaker. The matchmaker for Risen got on me a little bit because I was asked nicely by Road to stop trying to get a fight with Risen before I fought. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. I understand. And then I said something else on just like a little comment on Twitter or on Facebook, and Shinjo, the matchmaker, gets on there and goes, "Can you please stop until you finished your fight for Road?" I was like, sorry. My bad.
Well, I think you're doing a great job. The reason why I think you're doing it because you're bringing eyes from like across the globe to this area of the world that, you know, need to focus more of what's going on over here. And you're doing that, you know, on social media and saying like, hey, I want to fight this guy. I want to fight this guy. I'll fight this guy. It doesn't matter who to fight because at the end of the day, you know, you're calling out the guys that are winning. So
yeah,
like you're not calling out the cans and shit like, hey, I want this can. I just want to fight this guy and get a paycheck. You're calling out the dudes that are fucking
winning.
Huge. That Amir motherfucker.
Yeah, that's the fight. I'll be honest with you. That's the fight I want. I think that's a great fight. I think it's stylistically, it's a fun matchup. And I don't know. It's something about his face. I just don't like it.
Fair one, okay.
You know? Shit.
It's all good, man. Like, it's all in fun. So you're gonna be out in China, you know,
this
next
weekend.
week.
Are you gonna be there?
No, I'm not gonna be there.
You sure?
On,
you don't want to come to China, bro?
No,
you
man.
need to be there.
No, I'm not gonna go to China. I'm good on that.
You get the same.
I'll be watching from my cozy home. You know, this spot right here I'm sitting in. I'll be watching, you know, rooting for the people to, you know.
Come on, bro. You come corner with me.
Yeah.
No, that's a lot. Hey, I've only cornered one time in my life, and it was Dennis Hallman.
No shit.
Yeah.
No shit.
And he got knocked out. So after that, I didn't want to corner anybody else.
What was your brother's name in the Strike Force?
Steve.
Steve what?
Steve Hatzel.
Steve Hatzel.
Yeah.
His brother fought in
the Strike Force. That's dope.
That's
but
why
that was a long time ago, man. That was like over 10 years ago.
But when you told me that, I gave you mad props for that. Like, then I realized.
Why are you giving me bad props? But that has nothing to do with me.
Was that Strike Force kickboxing days or was that Strike Force MMA days?
Strike Force MMA days, like back in the when they fought in the Playboy Mansion and all that shit.
Yeah. When they still had the logo and everything.
Yeah.
I don't even know about those days.
Yeah. But Strike Force originally was just a kickboxing show.
Wow.
Yeah, because Coker's a kickboxing guy.
Yeah.
Originally.
Hence why there's Bellator kickboxing.
Right?
Now.
Which is a great idea, and they need to keep on pumping that shit.
And Coker's half Korean, too.
He does look a little Korean, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's half Korean. He's half Korean.
He's got that kimchi in his veins.
Yeah, he does. He smells like it if you sit next to him. But yeah, man, it's so you're gonna go in there, you're gonna fight some guy. His name is Ma Anding. I think Ading. And it says that he has like on the sites like SureDog and Tapology, it says he has no professional fights. What some people are saying that he has like 15 fights, But
Yeah.
what you know about China is when you go there, some of these guys, they might have 100 fights and it's just not recorded because it's on these shows, local shows. So what is like the challenges of going to a country and fighting a guy that you don't have no idea if anything's true of what you heard about him?
Man, honestly, I'm glad and I'm lucky that I got those. I've had a couple K1 fights in China now, so you kind of know like what you're dealing with China. And like I talk a lot of shit, but like China's actually an all right place. Like it's cool. Fighters are tough as fuck, but you legit don't know what you're gonna get. You gotta be careful what food you eat because they will feed you some dumb shit trying to get you sick. I'm glad I'm not cutting weight. God bless Openweight. Thank you, Road. But because cutting weight up there is a fucking nightmare.
It's terrible.
It is a nightmare. It is. I mean, last time I had to go cut up weight up there, I had to put on plastics and go run around some city that was freaking snowing pollution. It's a nightmare. But when it comes to like the records and shit, like this dude, he could have 100 fights or he could have fucking 3 fights. Like when I fought for it was either EM Legend or for Wuling Feng. It was my first kickboxing fight, first pro K1 fight, fought A class and everything. But they said my record was 45-10. I had one Muay Thai or 2 Muay Thai fights. One Muay Thai fight. That's it. Yeah, that was it. So you never know what you're gonna get, man. It's a mixed bag up there. I always assume it's kind of like we were chatting before the podcast. These guys have had some Sanda fights and that type of shit that that's not getting recorded. They're having these other things, but on that same level, what kind of guys are they fighting? Right. They're fighting some fucking turds. Just they're pulling old wushu guys off the street trying to do push hands and shit. This guy hasn't fought anybody like me.
They haven't fought Jake.
They haven't fought me. They haven't seen this yet. China ain't ready for this. Do you know they told me I can't have lyrics in my walkout song? I have to have an instrumental walkout.
What are you going to
I don't know. And this is a true story. I said, why? They said they don't want to take the time to put this for the censors to go through it to make sure it's not propaganda because it's on Chinese TV.
Oh, wow.
Why would you have propaganda in a song? Like, I've never even heard propaganda in a song that's against Chinese people. What the fuck is going on with that?
Some like super pro-American shit, Like, like
you got the Star Spangled Banner going on, like.
No, so that was my plan. I was like, look, if that can't do it, I'm just gonna walk out to my national anthem. They're like, no, you can't do that. All right.
That's so great.
They just do what's that one? What is it? Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Just the instrumental.
You should just do DMX, right?
Yeah. Oh man, or America, fuck yeah. Nah,
There's a million American songs you can put up.
That's so good. But like, last time I fought for Road, I come out to Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue. I'm like, hell yeah, that's a good one. And then they're like, nah, that's not going to work. You have to like pick some techno or something and come out to something with no words.
Anything with like
yeah,
just the heartbeats and shit. That's all you need.
Yeah.
But
I'm just going to walk out in just total silence.
Yeah, I cornered one time. It's terrible.
It's the worst idea ever. No, man, it's gonna be good though. Like I'm excited. Like, it's cool, man. This whole open weight thing, like it started off kind of as a joke, but like I'm fucking loving it. And like now that I'm in shape, it's gonna be a lot better. But like I really feel like the open weight thing, man, it like kind of brings back to like what MMA was at the end of the day. Like there ain't no weight class in the jungle. You know what I mean? Like if you want to be a tough guy, that's great, but don't be tough at your weight class. Fucking be tough.
Yeah, it is. It is true. It is what MMA originally was. Is the open weight.
Get your weight up, bro.
You up while we were sat here, man. I was looking at my calves compared to yours. Yours are bigger, but my legs look better.
It's because he shaves his legs, ladies and gentlemen.
The manis and petties got to go down too. You know what I mean? You got to look. Oh, you doing that? The hearts and shit.
The one FC.
This dude went full Asian right there. He went full Asian.
Can I tell you how Asian this guy is? He's got the whole, like, every photo, this one with the proper head tilt and everything. He's taking selfies with his food before he eats anything.
Yeah, once you go Asian, you don't go back.
His girl was telling me, he's like, Jing, he's so Asian now. It's I like the white guy. Now I have Thai boyfriend.
Bring back the white guy. Bring him back.
Hey, if we got to bring back the Falong. Hashtag bring back the Falong.
Hashtag bring back the Falong.
Oh, good. Well, I guess we're gonna see you on TV, man. You could catch Jake on YouTube because Road FC puts all their fights on YouTube live Saturday, I think 8 p.m. in China.
Yeah.
If you're in China, go check out Jake. He will be there. He'll. You don't got no special like walkout shit because you know Road lets you do all that shit. Do you got anything?
Yeah. Not nothing really planned this time, man.
It'll be propaganda, though.
It'll be propaganda. That's the problem. China's throwing a monkey wrench in my works. I'll come up with something special. I'll come up with something for you, China.
Hey, what if you walked out with some North Korean soldiers?
Fuck, man.
Walking and shit, like doing their walk, you know, with their guns and shit. So
a little quick.
Scary, bro. Have you seen that clip circulate the internet where there's like thousands of them?
Yeah.
It's just like,
Have you
it
seen
looks
the
like
thing
a South Park episode or something.
It is. The whole thing is a South Park episode of them. But I did see a thing though before we quit this that but when they did that massive thing where they had all their soldiers and shit out there, half of those guns were fake. Like people were going and
really?
zooming in on the guns like they weren't real.
They had the red tips on the end. They had the red tips. That's hilarious.
Kim Jong.
All right, man. Good luck to you, Jake. Hopefully we'll see you. Hopefully you get your fight in Ryzen or maybe one in Korea in December. And if you are here in December, then we'll definitely put some work in over here in the capital under the threat of North Korea, under the threat of Kim Jong-un. But yeah, good luck and I'll see you around. George,
Right on, brother. Thanks a
all
lot,
good.
man.
Peace.